Hi, my name is Mike Moore. This presentation is titled Discover How Tableau Can Coexist and Supplement Existing BI Platforms. I'm a business analyst at a company called Wes Notifications Group. We're located in Omaha, Nebraska. And the way this is going to go today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, talk about our journey, my journey to insight with Tableau, tell you a little bit about who Wes Notifications is, and then I'm going to describe how our BI team is structured and the value that BI gives our company and our clients. Then I'm going to do a little rant about traditional BI vendors and some of the things that bother me about them. But I'm also going to talk a little bit about some of the things that are good about some of the bigger traditional BI vendors. And when I say traditional BI vendors, I'm talking about these big platforms like Oracle, OBIEE, and Cognos, and MicroStrategy, and SAP Business Objects. Those big things that you have to, they really lock down everything, and you've got to have IT support to use them, or you've got to be an IT expert yourself to use them. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the good and the bad of that. And then I'm going to talk about why Tableau needs to coexist with other BI vendors. Why isn't Tableau, in our case, why isn't it, just our only BI tool that we use? Why do we have use another product? And then I'm going to wrap this up by going over a few use cases of how we use Tableau alongside the existing BI standard that we have in place. So first of all, a little bit about Wes Corporation. We have to, I think everyone who presents today from the client's point of view has to talk a little bit about who we are and what we do, so I'm going to start out by doing that. So Wes Corporation, I hate to read it. The first few slides are a bunch of text, so I hate to read everything to you, but basically leading provider of technology-driven communication services. So what that means is, one of our companies, Intercall, is the world's largest conferencing provider. Another company, Intrado, is the leading provider of emergency services. But where our company really made our bones was with customer communications, and those services, we started out with a lot of agents. We have branched out into automated voice solutions, both inbound and outbound, and the outbound voice notifications really makes up the alerts and notifications divisions of our company, and that's where I work in. Now, I've been with Wes since 2001, so I've been here for 12 years, and before that I managed an outbound call center, and we called and tried to get folks to subscribe to magazines. So, I've spent nearly my entire career working in customer communications and using data in one form or another to try to improve customer experience. I've been trying to design automated systems the last 12 years that were really easy for customers to use, and outbound contact strategies that are not intrusive and provide better services to customers. So there's a lot of text here on this slide, and since you're probably reading it anyway, I'll read part of it to you. The part about proactive communication to a targeted audience, that second paragraph under that. Proactive communication is achieved by the realization that contacting customers the way they want with personalized, relevant, and contextually aware data results in customer intimacy and therefore holds extraordinary value. Now that is kind of touchy-feely a little bit, but what we're really talking about is sending notifications to customers that help them meet a need or provide them a service or make their life easier. And so what does that mean? Well, so if we think about the financial services industry, that could be things like collections and payment reminders may be good, and depending on your circumstance, a collections reminder may or may not be good. When we think about healthcare or retail pharmacy, things like appointment reminders, prescription refill reminders, or programs that help you adhere to a certain treatment strategy prescribed by your doctor, those are things that are designed to help benefit your life. Same thing with utilities. We have a division of our company that focuses really just mainly on utilities and providing outage alerts and alerts that let customers know, not only that their power's out if they haven't already figured it out, but also lets them know why it's out and when they expect it to be back on, and then another notice that lets them know when it is back on so they can go home. And then other things like in the travel industry, like flight status notifications, maybe your gate has changed. You get a notice, a text message saying that your gate's changed, or a phone call or an email saying that your flight's going to be delayed. Those are all things that are designed to help customers of companies make their lives better. And all these industries use or employ proactive strategies in one way or another. And it does help the company's bottom line. There's no doubt about it. It helps drive business. It helps drive revenue. But it also creates brand loyalty, and the reason it creates brand loyalty is because you're providing customers with a service that they benefit from. And that's not easy to do. Anybody can dial a phone or send a blast of a text message, but it takes data to turn that message into an intelligent, targeted communication that's going to be well received by your customers. So the complexity of an effective proactive communication strategy increases as we move along this kind of spectrum here of complexity that I've got, these steps that I've got drawn out here. On the left, we've got blast message scenarios where you're just sending alerts to a large group of people. That's easy to do. Lots of companies can do that. It doesn't take a lot of intelligence or data to do that. Pretty much a phone number or an email address, and you can do it, and a little bit of a server to send them out. But it starts getting more complex as you start bringing in different types of data and taking into account customer preferences. And preferences can be explicitly given to you by the customer, where they tell you, only send me these types of messages, or only call me at this time, or only send me text messages but don't send me phone calls. Customer preferences can also be implicitly implied or applied or gathered, through their behavior, doing analysis and saying what has worked with this customer in the past. Was it calling before noon, or was it always sending text messages but they never answer their phone, and analyzing the data and getting the results that way. And then as we move to the right, we have more personalized conversations where the content and the message is tailored specifically to each individual's customer's needs. And then at the far right, we have what we call unified communications, and it looks like the communications got dropped off the end there, but that's or UC, and that's the ability to track customer conversations across multiple iterations back and forth, or even multiple contact channels, whether that be a text message, a phone call, or an email, a chat, or really all of the above. And customer expectations are high. I'm a customer, and I expect a high level of service from the companies that I work with. I mean, we all have some understanding of technology and what technology can do, and we expect the companies that we work with, to understand something about us when they reach out to us. We want that personalized one-on-one service. I do. And if you take the concept of insight, and I got this definition from Google, so it is what it is. But the Google definition of insight is the capacity to gain an accurate and deep intuitive understanding of a person or thing, and that's exactly what we try to do. With our notifications, we try to really reach out and target people in a one-to-one manner, in a way and method that will be greeted by them in an acceptable way, and not be intrusive, and help them with their needs. This kind of motto at the bottom: my space, my way, my time. And that's really what we try to do. So I step back a little bit and talk about my journey to insight. So insight, when it comes to customers, hasn't always been easy to get. Back in 1994, when few of us even had a computer in our office, let alone our very own computer on our desk, insight came to me anyway in the form of numbers printed on a piece of paper or a calculator. And probably not even a nice calculator like the one that I've got shown here, probably a little bit bigger and bulkier back then, might even have had a battery. But back then I was working in an outbound call center trying to figure out when it was the best time for my agents to call you and bug you for a magazine subscription. And that was a tall order. If one of my agents called you to renew a magazine, back then, all I knew about you was how long you'd been a subscriber. I also knew that the longer you'd been a subscriber, probably I was going to ask to charge you pay a little more for that magazine. And then I might have known how many times we'd already tried to call you earlier in the week without an answer. But as computers became more common in the workplace, I was able to learn get my own computer and learn cool programs like Excel and do neat little tricks like trying to figure out how to manually scrape data from mainframe reports and load them into Excel. And we'd do this to try and identify, which agents did better on which magazines, and maybe which time of day was the best time to call certain magazines or different campaigns. And soon, Excel and Access became my best friends, and over time my career gravitated to other roles that were more analytical in nature, and more became reliant on this combination of data and technology. I came to Wes in 2001, as I mentioned, and I began working with automated voice applications known as IVRs, or interactive voice response systems. And they used both touch tone input from the keypad, and also we were able to use something called ASR, or automated speech recognition, where we could understand your response with your voice. And one of my roles back then was that of a business design analyst, where I analyzed the utterance or phrases that customers said when the IVR, or the automated program, asked them a question. Then we used that analysis to tune the speech engine to do a better job of understanding customer responses, so that when you responded to the IVR, it would have a better chance of understanding what you said. We learned that there was nothing more frustrating to the customer when you asked the customer a question and they responded yes, and the system didn't recognize them, because instead of saying yes, you said something like yeah or uh-huh. So we would look for different ways to respond positively to questions, and then we would tune this IVR so that it would do a better job of understanding that. So sadly, however, through all of that time, about the only technology that I ever really used was Excel and Access. And I didn't really know how bad I had it until in 2009, when one of our analysts got wind of a speech that Christian Chabot had given in Omaha at Gallup, the survey company in Omaha, and we found Tableau from that, and nothing really was ever the same after that for us. So I'm going to fast forward to today. The business intelligence team that I'm part of is structured a lot like a lot of other BI and analytics groups, I imagine. We have data warehouse and IT folks who are responsible for the data warehouse architecture, data governance, and security and cube builds. We have an analytics team. They do operations research. These folks have backgrounds in mathematics, statistics. They have some industrial engineering experience, finance, and even operations research. They're focused on driving operations strategy and developing model-driven solutions using techniques that include optimization, simulation, design of experiments from Six Sigma, and data mining, predictive modeling, things like that. And then there's a reporting and data visualization group, which is really where I tend to spend most of my time. And we're responsible for presenting data and providing results of the analytics to both our internal business users and to our clients in ways that are intuitive and meaningful, and so that they can use that information to make better decisions and make those decisions faster and more accurately. The team that we have, we make use of a number of different tools. First, we're primarily an Oracle shop. We use Oracle 11G for our data warehouse. We use Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition, which is OBI EE 11. We use that for enterprise reporting, operational reporting, and dashboards. And our primary data mining tool is Oracle Data Miner. We also have another number of other tools. Some of our analysts use R a lot, the statistical language a lot, and we also have a product called JMP from SAS that we use for stats, and we have a number of simulation tools as well. But of course, we have Tableau, and that's what I really want to start out. So I've got up here kind of a cascade of Gartner Magic Quadrants going back to, I think, the first time that I can see of Tableau appearing in the Gartner BI Magic Quadrant was back in 2010. And so in this year's edition, 2013 edition of Gartner's Magic Quadrant for Business Intelligence and Analytics, it contains this quote under the caution section for Tableau. And it says, Tableau's products often fill an unmet need in large organizations that already have a BI standard, which makes them frequently deployed as a complementary capability to an existing BI platform. As a result, Tableau is still less likely to be considered an enterprise BI standard than the products of most other vendors. Now, for the last 4 years, this kind of always baffled me, and it's appeared word for word every year for the last 4 years. Apparently, this is based on the assumption that all the traditional BI vendors are going to suddenly get smarter and and all the good things that Tableau is doing, they're going to start doing, and just add to their size and their footprint. But I don't really see any evidence of that. In fact, I see the opposite. On one of the, I use Oracle a lot, and so I'm out on their technology network forum, and one of the things that I found was a comment that was made when OBIEE 11 came out. It said, the guy said, in the criteria tab, items used to have a filter icon, a formula icon, a sort icon, and other things directly on their tiles. Now I have to hit a little drop down and pick from a list. And he complained about two things. He said, one, this hides the functionality from the users, and two, this adds extra mouse clicks and slows things down with little or any apparent benefit. And then he says, is there a reason this was done? Well, that doesn't seem smarter to me. In fact, from my perspective, Tableau has steadily been working to do just the opposite in the last several releases. They are bringing more and more functionality onto the workspace. And a big company like Oracle is supposed to be getting smarter, is not. They are not doing that. They're actually taking it further away and frustrating their longtime users. So we work with a lot of BI consultants. I've worked with a lot of BI consultants over the years. And when we started using Tableau, I'll ask them about Tableau, and I really love the way they characterize products like Tableau, especially Tableau itself. When I ask them about it, I usually will get some type of affirmative response. Yeah, they've heard of it. A little bit of a furrow on the brow and this metaphoric kind of pat on the head. In fact, one of the consultants that I work with, and somebody I actually do have a great deal of respect for, he has a really interesting analogy, if it wasn't so darn condescending. He characterizes tools like Tableau as niche tools that really focus just on data visualization, and they're great for building these quick little ad hoc analysis and pretty charts and graphs. But he points out that the foundation that you would build to support this cute little house is not the same as, say, the foundation you would build for an 80-story building. Now, there's some truth to that. It's true that Tableau is still a relatively new player in the field with different and better ways of doing some things, but still growing in others. It's also true that Tableau has traditional BI running scared. MicroStrategy is building features that look like Tableau, even though I see users complaining that they're not any easier to use. I have a sister-in-law who is in the leadership role in a BI department at one of the hospitals in Omaha. They have both business objects and Cognos, but it seems there's been an insurgence in her organization. When I asked her if she'd heard of Tableau, she started telling me that her business has kind of discovered that. Some of the business analysts have this on their desktops, and they're starting to ask about Tableau Server. The advice that she got from a consultant, one that I've worked with before, was that she needs to nip it in the butt because it'll take off like wildfire. And I thought that was kind of amusing because, if it's something that your users want, and it makes it easier for them to do their jobs, why would you not be supportive of that? But in the meantime, how does Tableau coexist with these big behemoth BI platforms, and how does Tableau fill in the void where some of these other platforms fall short? Well, first, let's talk about the reason why Tableau has to coexist with other platforms in the first place. This will be a little overly dramatic, I think, but I really see Tableau as a revolutionary movement in business intelligence, and that kind of started in the streets. It's like a rebellion by the business user. Yeah, the business owns the data. It's not IT. They're not the owners of the data. They may be the caretakers of the data, but they don't own the data. And Tableau is a way for the business to take back their data. Tableau is democratic. It lets everybody use the data and have access to it. Tableau's sweet spot is that it's easy to use. Anyone with the ability to use Excel can use Tableau effectively and nearly instantaneously. It also allows users to interact with their data in ways they never thought possible before. The intuitive drag-and-drop capabilities of software with features like Show Me changes how business users think about their data and what they can do about the data. And it certainly did that for me. I always kind of gravitated towards more analytical, numbers-driven roles in my career, but it certainly wasn't my chosen career path, and I didn't get nearly as excited about numbers until I figured out that I could use tools like Tableau to make pictures of them, and that seemed to make a difference for me anyway. But the users want more now. It creates a demand on IT to give users more access to their data, and the way I kind of see it is business users are the people or the masses, and IT is the establishment. But traditional BI is not all bad. Despite the little rant that I just went through, there's a lot of good about traditional BI as well. Metadata management is important for an enterprise BI platform to work well. Just as an example, in my business, the terms client and the term customer, they can mean different things, but they can also mean the same thing. And metadata management can help keep track of those relationships, and it gives IT the ability to define dimensions and hierarchies and store and reuse terms and data and KPIs. Formatted scheduled reporting is important too. There's still a lot of business users, especially executives, who want that report in their inbox every single morning. I know that Tableau has removed that as an obstacle in the recent release, but formatted scheduled reporting is not a space that Tableau occupied a few versions ago, and I'd hesitate to call it a sweet spot for them now. Predictive analytics is another area where traditional BI vendors are excelling. Granted, most of them have bought or acquired their technology from other companies, but they've integrated it well. These are good products, and they work well with other components of the BI stack. And in my company's case, a full Oracle stack was selected for some of these very reasons. And Oracle is important to us, but Tableau still fills a very critical need for us. So I've talked a little bit about how business users have been one of the driving forces behind Tableau's success, but they're also the most obvious beneficiaries, including Tableau as part of that BI stack, even if it's just as a supplementary role. Tableau's drag-and-drop interface lets even the most novice users realize efficiencies immediately. Users can connect easily to text files and Excel files. There's no need to write SQL code, and they can work directly against the database. Business users can also easily bring data from outside the data warehouse. They can do all this without IT support. And the drag-and-drop nature of Tableau also helps business users quickly explore data sets and easily make visualizations to help make sense of their data. Then with Server, users can also quickly publish and share and work and collaborate with their peers in real time or near real time. If you want to do that work in Oracle, you could, but you'd definitely be working with IT to do so. And here's an example of what I mean. What we're looking at here is the Oracle BI administration tool, and the BI admin tool here this is what I use to connect and map data to the BI presentation layer. So here on the right side we have the physical layer, and this is where we make sure that all the joins from the data warehouse are correct, and then in the middle here this is the business model and mapping layer, or sometimes known as the logical layer or the business layer. It's probably the most important piece of this tool. This is where we take the mapping from the data warehouse and we put it in terms that the user is going to understand. We define the metrics here and do the calculations and the aggregations, and then we move it over into the presentation layer, and this is what the dashboard designer or the BI user will see when they open up OBIE, and this will take the form of subject areas here. And that's very important for locking our data down. We do have KPIs and metrics that are standard across the country. It sits on, or the company, sorry. It sits on top of a conforming data warehouse, and we want those measures locked down, and we want them to mean the same thing all the time. But we also need the flexibility that Tableau gives us in other areas. So I also mentioned that some of our analysts use Tableau, and well, in fact, they all do. And here's a good example of why. Some of you might recognize this. It's in our statistical environment, in our GUI, and some of our analysts likes to use it really because it's what they used in college. We have a lot of analysts who were exposed to this in college, use it, are comfortable with it. And here you can see a bar chart on the bottom. It's a quick little graphic, maybe not that good because there's not that much differentiation between the control group and the test group. So we've got it color-coded here. You know, off to the right here, where there's the text in black, you can see there's the bottom two sections of code is really the code that went to make up this visualization. And that doesn't take long to do for somebody who's experienced with R. You know, maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes to write that piece of code out and display that graph. And that's fine if you have one graph to do, but you know, if you have a dozen of them to do, you know, that 5 or 10 minutes can add up when you can use Tableau and get that done in just, you know, a few minutes for the whole set of data that you have to visualize. And you know, our analysts have a lot of tools at their disposal, but I can't seem to walk by one of their cubes without seeing Tableau up on one of their screens. So why do analysts use Tableau instead of other tools? You know, same reasons. They can connect to multiple data sources without IT support. They're not limited necessarily to the data that's in the data warehouse. They can use Tableau Server to collaborate in an iterative nature with other users or with their customers. And it's easy to visualize the output of the analytics that they perform. They may perform these in other tools, but they can bring the data into Tableau and use it quickly to tell a story. So as I mentioned, one of the hats I wear is that of a dashboard designer, and part of that role is to gather requirements and work with folks from IT who are going to build the cube for me, and based on the requirements that I give them. But I'm also then responsible for designing the prototype and eventually that final dashboard. And this is how I really love to use Tableau. I'm able to go into the data warehouse and before it becomes a cube, just into the raw data and connect and join all the tables together and create the KPIs and define all of the other aggregations that will be built into the cube. And I could do that you know, I can do that with Oracle tools, but I can do it faster in Tableau. Tableau lets me, really, it lets me make mistakes faster until I get to the right answer. I'm able just to bang through and do things quickly, both in terms of KPI design or in terms of the visual design that I'm going to have. This image that we're looking at here, it's a visual prototype of a dashboard that we built, and I was able to go through this pretty quickly and go through a couple different iterations with the user who was going to be using this report and make the changes pretty quickly. You know, with not a lot of time or effort, and much less time or effort than I would have had to invest if I had been using the Oracle tool. Tableau is literally a rapid prototyping tool, and it speeds up and serves up requirements for the requirements document that we get to the cube builders. We use it for that, and it's a palette for fast iterative dashboard design. Just a couple, one more example here before we wrap up here. So this is a dashboard that I prototyped in Tableau. We were doing some champion challenger at the time of when we designed this. We were doing some champion challenger testing, and then you know, I was able to pretty quickly create a couple versions of this. We settled on, you know, a final version of it, and then you know, we're able to build it in Oracle and then lock it down and sit it on top of a cube, and the process was, I would say, 3 to 4 times faster just using Tableau as opposed to doing all of the work in Oracle. And the other thing is, you know, when we're talking about designing or creating KPIs and building aggregations that we're going to build into a cube, you know, a lot of times if I haven't tested out those aggregations against raw data and just send off to the cube builders what I want, I don't always get back what I expect. And by going through and doing this work and getting the joints correct on the raw data side, as opposed to just handing them a requirements document, really helps the cube builders get it right the first time, and we have less iteration when going back and forth when we're testing and QAing the data cubes. So, just to wrap up, I mean, the reasons that we use Tableau as a supplement to our BI system, it's number one, it's clearly the drag and drop and self-service BI. The users who are not experts with using systems and can't write SQL code, really love this tool. It's stronger than Excel. It's quicker. They're able to do things faster in Excel, but they don't have to be computer science experts to use it. Intuitive data visualization, rapid data exploration and understanding are very important. The ability to connect to multiple data sources without IT, that benefits both the user because they can do what they need to do quickly, and it doesn't take IT resources either. Iterative collaboration with other analysts via Tableau server. An analyst can put something, can do work very quickly, and then put it out to the person who requested that work, and they can have a quick back and forth. One of the other reasons that our analysts like Tableau so much is they're on big projects, but they're also getting peppered all day long with little ad hoc requests saying, hey, this number looks out of whack, can you tell me why? And with a product like Tableau, they can go hit the data very quickly and bring back some information, put it into a visualization, publish it out to server, and send it back to the person who asked the question. And they can do this very quickly with little time or effort invested. And it's easy for them to visualize the output of the analytics performed in other tools. Some of the other tools it's not quite as easy or quick to build the visualizations, or maybe they just don't look as good as Tableau visualizations do. And so our analysts really like to use Tableau to visualize their work and use that to tell the story of the analysis that they've done. And as I mentioned, it serves as a requirements document for queue builders. For me, it's a palette for fast, iterative dashboard design, building design metrics and KPIs, and mapping hierarchy and other supporting details and drill downs, things that we need to look at. It's easy for me to go into Tableau and quickly find those items and look through them. So, in short, Tableau really is the go-to tool when we need to do things that are fast and easy and we don't have a lot of time, and it really supplements the other tools that we have, and we would be hard-pressed to do as well without Tableau. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Have a great day.